Hello. I am James, and I live in Manchester in the UK. And you're listening to English with a Brew, a podcast where I talk about different day-to-day topics to help you learn English the most natural way possible, and that is only by listening to it. And if you want to support this podcast, read transcripts, and get exclusive access to more episodes, go to patreon.com/English with a Brew. As we say in Manchester, get a brew on, and let's get started. Hello, how are you? In this episode, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know to take a train here in England, or probably in the majority of English-speaking countries. Here in the UK, you can take a train to most cities and towns quite easily. It's common to use trains to commute. Commute is the trip you make when you go to work or go home after work. And it's also easy to take a train to go on holiday or visit somewhere for only one day. And we call that a day trip. So today, I'm going to give you some vocabulary that you can use, as well as some useful questions that you can ask if you are not sure where you need to go. Before you can get on a train, you need to plan your journey and buy your tickets. Usually, you can do that with an app on your phone or on a website. But usually, if you buy a ticket in advance, which means that you buy it 1, maybe 2 weeks before your journey, they can be a bit cheaper. They can cost less. Another option is to buy your train ticket at the train station. You can buy your ticket from a ticket machine in the station, or you can go to the ticket office and buy a ticket from the cashier, the person who works in the ticket office. To plan your journey, you can look at a train timetable to see what times the different trains depart or leave your station, and see what time your train will arrive at your destination. Another thing to think about is whether your train is direct, which means it takes you from your station to your destination without stopping, or if it's indirect, which means it makes some stops along the way. And sometimes direct trains are much faster. Once you have planned your journey and you have bought your ticket, you need to go to the correct platform. Usually there is a departures board, a screen in the station that displays a list of departing trains. And on the board, it will tell you which platform you need to go to. But if you're not sure, you can ask a worker. For example, you could ask someone, "Excuse me, which platform for the 1 p.m. train to Manchester?" And then they will be able to help you. The departures board also tells you if your train is going to leave to depart on time, or if it is running late. If you have a seat reservation when your train arrives, you will need to find your carriage. And you can probably find it on your ticket. And once you get on the correct carriage, the last thing you need to do is to find your seat. And that's it. Once you have found your seat, you can get comfortable and enjoy the rest of your journey. Here in the UK, most trains have toilets and they have Wi-Fi, so you can access the internet, although it's not always the most reliable. And some trains even have food carriages, so you can buy something to eat or drink. At some point during your journey, a ticket inspector may come and check your ticket and check that the tickets of all of the other passengers are valid. And if someone does not have a valid ticket, the inspector might give them a fine, and the person who didn't buy a ticket will need to pay the fine as a penalty later. And well, that's it. That's everything for today's episode. That's everything you need to know to take a train here in the UK. So my question for you today is, do you enjoy traveling by train? I do. In comparison to driving, I find it more relaxed, easier, sometimes it's faster, and above all, I enjoy watching the world go by in the window. Anyway, let me know in the comments or send me a voice message on Spotify, whichever you prefer. See you later. And that's everything for today's episode of English with a Brew. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you did or if you didn't, and tell me which topics you'd like to hear me talk about in future episodes. And don't forget, you can read the transcript for this episode and get access to more exclusive content over on my Patreon page. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day, morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time it is where you are right now. Take care.